Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new Bleach Chapter 523 prediction. And this week's chapter of Bleach, for me personally, wasn't really all that enjoyable, but at the same time, I think this week's chapter did serve an important purpose in setting up for the next week's chapter. And not only that, but it gave us, of course, some comic relief. Even though I wasn't feeling the comic relief that much, I feel like it's important to get this comic relief on, especially right now where we are in the story, because later on, of course, we're going to have this big old war going on between the Shinigami, the Shinigamis, the Rankars, of course, versus the Quincy's. And I think it's good that we're getting a lot of it now, because we're probably not going to see a lot of comic relief during that entire war, because it's going to be a war. I mean, why would people be cracking jokes during a war? So I'm not going to down it. Although I did like a few of Kone's parts in the chapter, of course, because we see Renji, of course, Ichigo, and Kone, they arrive in the palace, the Phoenix Palace, well, what they think is the Phoenix Palace. And pretty much this dude, I think his name is, I can't remember what it was. I think it was Neatsu or Oetsu or something like that. Oetsu, I believe it was. And he pretty much, of course, he's one of the Royal Guard members, and he has this harem of women, pretty much a playboy in this big old mansion-like house, or whatever you want to call it, temple. And we all end up finding out that they're really Zanpakuto. Of course, Cone, from the get-go, when he sees all these different women, he's going nuts, he's going crazy, because we all know Cone's the big perv. So I found that part of the chapter to be pretty funny. And for the most part, the reason why I say it's a comic relief chapter, because you have Oetsu, pretty much he's talking to Ichigo and Renji, and just pretty much cracking jokes left and right. We have him even like going do a pose or whatnot, and he has Ichigo and Renji do a pose, which that part of the chapter was, I don't know, I didn't really care for that scene, but some of you guys may have cared for it, which, I'm not going to down it if you did like it. But the main part of the chapter, which I cared about after we got past the part with the harem of women and all that other stuff, we found out, of course, that those were Zanpakuto, that those were not Shinigami, and he was saying Ichigo and Renji, they basically can't tell the difference between Shinigami and Zanpakuto, which was a bit weird to me, because I don't ever recall Ichigo and them even calling them Shinigami, so it's kind of weird that he would say they don't know the difference between them. But we see him take them to this, of course, Ichigo and the gang to this shed, like Ichigo, Renji, Kon, and this shed is really where the actual Phoenix Palace is at. So they go in there, of course, they walk inside, and there's no stairs, they just fall in there. And Ichigo, of course, Ichigo and Renji look up, and we see Oetsu has Zabimaru and Zangetsu in his hands, well, Tenza Zangetsu. And he pretty much says to them, well, he talks about something about the wrath of Zanpakuto, like, you don't care about your Zanpakuto. If you don't care about your Zanpakuto, then you're going to end up feeling your Zanpakuto's wrath. You have to show your Zanpakuto some love. So pretty much he takes both of the Zanpakuto, smashes them together, destroys them, and I'm assuming, based on what he was saying and what we see in the darkness, that Renji and Ichigo are going to have to face the wrath of the Zanpakuto, because he says to them, once you face the wrath of your Zanpakuto, if you survive, then I will reforge your blades. So I'm thinking that, okay, obviously Zangetsu and Zabimaru are about to walk out, but the only thing I'm wondering is, how can, how can Ichigo, or especially Renji, because, Ichigo, he has full brain, these possible Quincy powers or whatever, but it's kind of weird, how can Renji fight against his own Zanpakuto? So I don't know how this is about to go about. I don't know if it's going to be kind of like when Ichigo fought against not Zangetsu, but Hollow Ichigo, how he had to fight against him and overcome him in that type of way, or kind of like Ichigo's Bankai training all over again. And same thing for Renji, kind of like Bankai training all over again, where they had to face their own Zanpakuto in order to be able to unlock their own Bankai. And maybe it's the same thing to kind of get closer to reforging your blade. But I think this is a good opportunity right now for Ichigo to actually learn new moves from Zangetsu, because he never talks to Zangetsu. So I can see why Etsu is pretty much telling Ichigo, you got to show your Zanpakuto some love, because he certainly don't show his Zanpakuto some love. I'm like, where did he ever talk to Zangetsu? I hope Zangetsu said that too. Like Ichigo, when did you talk to me? Like, you have not talked to me since you got me back. Which is definitely the case. Like, I have not seen Ichigo sit down, do no Genzen or nothing. So he needs to sit up there and ask some questions like, Zangetsu, do you have any other moves in Getsu Gatencho? Hopefully Zangetsu shows some different moves in Getsu Gatencho, because if that's the case, then Ichigo probably will end up picking those moves up after this fight with Zangetsu right now. And of course, Renji, he has different moves, so I'm not complaining about Renji, but this is really definitely a chance for Ichigo to really expand on his repertoire. I don't think he really will, but hopefully he picks up at least one new move after fighting against Zangetsu this particular time. I'm like, I don't think he's going to reach transcendent levels after this, because I don't like, I mean, he probably have to talk to Hollow Ichigo too, which I doubt he's going to talk to Hollow Ichigo, although Hollow Ichigo is, I mean, I'm assuming he's still in there somewhere, so maybe he'll walk out of the shadows too, who knows. Because I think there was a couple faces in the background, so maybe Hollow Ichigo, maybe one of them walking out of the shadows. Doubt it though, since it's mainly dealing with Zanpakuto and not Hollow powers, even though its Hollow powers are connected to the Shinigami powers, so maybe, but I mean, I definitely couldn't see how they're gonna get out of this freaking room with Hollow Ichigo walked out of there, because we all know Hollow Ichigo freaking blow the gates of hell open, so Ichigo's not taking that on. But next week's chapter, since this was mainly a setup chapter, is what I'm really looking forward to, because of the confrontation between Ichigo probably and most likely Zangetsu and Renji and of course Zabimaru, but mainly Ichigo and Zangetsu. So this guy seems like he's gonna be mainly the person that fixes their blades. So I don't know if the other Rogar really have a big important purpose in this, like in this process, because we still haven't seen I cannot remember her name, but the girl with the arms. And we haven't seen, of course, the dude with the giant beads, the bald head, them in his palace shit. I mean, they are probably going to go to his palace, but this is pretty much probably where their Zanpakutos are going to get, maybe not fixed, but changed by this guy, since he gave birth to Zanpakuto. And I still don't get I want backstory on that. Like, Kubo, give me some backstory on how he created Zanpakuto, because I assume that when Shinigami are born, they automatically have a Zanpakuto. So how can this dude make it to where, like, how was he the creator of Zanpakuto? It's not like we've seen every Shinigami go to him and be like, hey, make me a sword. And he's like, all right, cool. It's not like that's ever happened. It's not like he took their spirit energy or something and made a blade out of their spirit energy. It's like, we've never seen this. I don't know if maybe he fixes swords, or maybe he knows how to enhance swords or what, but they said he gave birth to Zanpakuto. So I'm like, that would lead me to think he's like the first Shinigami or something. I mean, which if that's the case, I mean, alright, but I mean, I thought Yamamoto was the oldest Shinigami, because he basically seemed like he started the Gochi 13. They said he had the oldest Zanpakuto, so I would let me think if anybody gave birth to Zanpakuto, it would be Yamamoto, unless maybe Oetsu somehow he's the first one that took Yamamoto's spirit energy or something and made a Zanpakuto for him or something like that. Who knows? I have no idea, but it's still a little bit confusing. I hope that, I mean, I know it's gonna get explained eventually, but I honestly, that's what I've been focusing on. Like, I still can't get over the fact that he gave birth to Zanpakuto. It's like a little weird to me. But next week's chapter, definitely an exciting confrontation between Ichigo and Zangetsu. Or not next week's, 2 weeks from now. I'm forgetting. We're gonna have a chapter. So if you're wondering why I'm not uploading next week, that's because the chapter's not out. It'll be out in 2 weeks. So everything as far as 2 weeks from now should be a pretty interesting chapter. Hoping that we do get some great action between their fights and Ichigo gets a new move, and that's pretty much it. I'm thinking he will get at least one new move from this, since Zanpakuto is going to change. Otherwise, I couldn't see why Kubo having his Bankai change once again if he's not going to have some type of improvement other than, like, of course, his Zanpakuto being stronger. And I don't know if it necessarily be stronger, but it'll just be different in some way. So pretty much, this is my thoughts on this week's chapter, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to go ahead and rate this video. So if you liked it, then please put a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can put a thumbs down. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to comment down below and tell me your thoughts. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.